going to make sure there's a little space. That's how we make the sound smooth and continuous. Correct, collect. This usually happens when we release the L. La 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 la. That's a light L. The sounds that we commonly refer to as R and L sounds can sometimes be a challenge. So in today's lesson, I'm going to go over how to pronounce these sounds, their differences, and minimal pair practice and sentence practice. So how do we make the R? Well, in American English, there are actually variations of the R sound, depending on region, vowel influence, and position in a word. But I'm not going to get into all the vowels plus R today. I'm just going to keep it basic, and I'll be teaching the general American R sound. So the general American R sound is smooth and continuous because it is not interrupted or stopped. Okay, it's just r, or. So this sound can be problematic for some speakers who might substitute by making a tapped R, which would basically kind of sound like a D, d, r, d, or a trilled R, 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 a W, w, or an sound, But we just want to, for this general American English R, we just want to make it smooth and continuous. So if you'd like to learn how to do that today, I'm going to show you. All right, so first of all, this is the roof of your mouth, and this is your tongue, okay? So as I mentioned, you're going to curl the tongue, okay? The tongue is going to rise a little bit, you're going to bring it up a little, and the tip is going to go up and maybe a little bit back. You're going to curl it. Think of curling it back. And also think about rounding your lips at the same time. This will also help with when R is at the beginning of a word. It helps. Okay, And you're also going to feel the sides of your tongue touching the sides of the teeth. Okay, so you'll feel that. Now you don't want to tap. Remember, you don't want to touch the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth. You don't want to tap at all. You don't want to make any contact. That's how you tap the sound, or trill. You don't want to do that. There's a space here. You're going to make sure there's a little space. That's how we make the sound smooth and continuous. And if you're having a little trouble, just think of pointing the tip of the tongue up towards the roof of the mouth. Taking that tip and pointing it up. If you don't get a curl out of it, if you can't quite curl it, just make sure you're pointing up. And around your lips. Remember, there's a space there. Don't be making any contact with the tip of that tongue. Okay, not at all. Try it around your lips. Take that tongue, bring it up, point it up, curl it a little bit back. Now let's try some words. Red. Remember, this is your tongue. Red. Round the lips. Red. Right. Road. Rain. Very. And there's the R in the middle position. Very. Teacher. And here's R in the final position. Teacher. So we have spelling for the R sound. It's just the R, the letter R. So those are some spellings. We can also have the spelling for double R, RR. And that still, it doesn't change the sound. You're not holding it out longer. You're not trilling it or anything. It's just R. It's just Okay. So these are usually in the middle of the word. So we have worry. Hurry. Remember, don't say hurry. Don't tap. Hurry. Sorry. arrive, arrive. Notice how I still rounded my lips for the R in the middle. Arrive, arrive. Correct, correct. Tomorrow, tomorrow. All right, our next spelling is WR. Still has the R sound. Wrong. And again, for W, you're still rounding. So you're going to have this shape of your lips in the beginning. Wrong. Right. Wrote. Written. Notice the T there was in the back here. Written. But that will be for another lesson. Wrangler. Wrangler. We've got R at the beginning and also at the end. Wrangler. And sometimes you can over-exaggerate your lip movements, when you're practicing, just to really feel those lip movements. Wrangler, wrangler, wrong, right. You might feel a little ridiculous, but don't. This is a good practice for really working the muscles of those lips and your facial muscles as well. So that way it will start to feel more natural to you the more that you do that. Now, when you're speaking, you won't be speaking like that. You won't be over exaggerating, but this is a good practice, again, just to really be aware of those lip movements and lip rounding. Okay, and then we have RH. Rhyme, rhythm, rhapsody. All right, very good. Now let's go to L. Now L is voiced and continuous also, but the sound is produced with airflow around both sides of the tongue. So it's a different sound and it should feel different as well. The lips, they're apart and neutral. And there's two ways you can do this. So the first way is usually the way that I like to teach it, where the tip of the tongue touches that upper gum ridge. There's a ridge right behind the top front teeth. Sometimes if you bite into something that's really hot, it's that part that usually gets burned. If you eat a hot slice of pizza, that's the part that gets burned. And so that's called the gum ridge. Okay, you just take the tip of your tongue. It's behind the top front teeth. You can feel that there. Oh, and voice the sound. Oh, you can feel there should be some space on both sides of your tongue. Oh. So anchor the tip of the tongue on that gum ridge and voice the sound. Oh, la 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 la. Go la 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 la. Another way, the tip of the tongue can touch the back of the lower front teeth. So the tip of the tongue can be resting on the bottom and the back of the bottom front teeth. So the part that's just a little bit behind the tip of the tongue, it's raised and it's making contact kind of a little bit behind that gum ridge. Oh. So that can still make the L sound. And there's still that space around the sides of the tongue. Now, this might be more for the L's at the end of the word. You might do that a little bit more. It's more it's more of a dark L. So those are two ways to do it. Let's go ahead and look at light L and dark L. So light L is described as a lighter sound. And this usually happens when we release the L. La 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 la. That's a light L. La la la. So L at the beginning of words is always light. Okay. For example, the word light, look, listen. And L in the middle of words when it's followed by a vowel, because you're still kind of releasing that L. Okay, like in the words believe, delight, silly. Now the dark L is described as kind of a lower sound, a little heavier resonance, a little darker. We see dark L more at the end of words and before consonants. So here the tongue is pulled back. It's pulled back just a little bit and raised a little. You're still anchoring the tip of your tongue up on the gum ridge or on the back of the bottom front teeth. Okay, so the tip of your tongue is still going to be anchored. And there's still space and airflow on the sides of the tongue. And you're going to have more of a sound with the L. Oh, especially at the end of words. So and oh. Say that with me. Oh. Okay, I've got my tongue anchored up behind the top front teeth, the gum ridge. Oh. Fill the space here, the air. Oh. So here are some examples of words with dark L. Pull. Bottle. Oh. Okay, make sure you make some contact with that top with the tip of your tongue, because otherwise it'll sound like oh. Melt. Okay. Vulgar. Okay, here's L in the middle, but it follows with a consonant. So vulgar. Culture. And little. So this one has both the light and dark L. So light L at the beginning, le, and then dark L at the end, little. And the T sounds like a D, but that's for another lesson too. So if you can visualize this, on what the tip of the tongue is doing for each, and then associate that placement and movement, that will be helpful to you. So let's go ahead and practice some words for each sound. Okay, first, the beginning position. These are minimal pairs. So we'll start with R, right, light. So right, light, right, light. And remember, round your lips for the R, right. Next, read, lead. And practice saying these aloud with me. Red, lead. Rice, lice. Road, load. Don't forget the O there. You're also rounding for the O. Rash, lash. Here we have the short A. Rash, lash. Rain, lane. So we have that long A sound. A. Rain, lane. Now let's try in the middle position. Correct, collect. Paris, palace. Berry, belly. Spirit, spill it. Say that again. Spirit, spill it. And spill and it are connected. It's not spill it, it's spill it. So spit and lit, spill it. And then final position. Here is where you're going to hear more of the dark L. Far, fall. Okay, we really kind of want to hear that L, even though it's kind of deeper and darker. Okay, you still want to make sure that tongue is anchored for the O, the O. Let's try it again. Far, fall. Car, call. Bar, ball. And we do kind of hold out the vowels just a little bit longer for these. Litter, little. Litter, little. Okay, remember little. Oh. Last one. Batter, battle. Now it's time for some sentences. We're almost finished. Listen and repeat after me. Number 1. How far did he fall? How far did he fall? Far and fall should sound different. Number 2. Take the load on the road. Number 3. My palace is in Paris. Number 4. The berry made my belly ache. Number 5. Turn right at the light. And I'm going to say it a little faster now. Turn right at the light. All right, well, that was fun, I think. And if you'd like more lessons with consonants and vowels, check out my website at eslspeechconnect.com. Happy learning, everyone.